Booyah! Oh, wake up, man. Wake up. We are on. Hello. Are you there? Oscar, are you there? Mayday.
I happen to be here.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the Focus on You program with Phil and Oscar. You know, you're the Oscar part of the program, right?
And you're the filler.
And I'm the filler. You know. All right, everybody. We're back. We're back. Yep. That's right. Hide your children.
Actually, we
Hide your
protect your
children.
children.
We're back. All right, so we have a great program here for you today, and one of the most wonderful people I know,
Thank
Miss
you. Thank you.
Marilanda.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
and
You're
this
talking
is
about
this
me
is why
again.
I can't bring. You know, I have to isolate you. Yeah, but Claudia Marulanda from Marulanda Arts is with us today. Those of you who don't know her should, and those of you who do know her love her. We all know you do, and if you don't, we coming after you. Oscar knows people, so so that's just how it is. But yeah, we're going to be talking to her today. I always love interviewing her because she has this unique thing about her that is just fantastic. I think she should be world famous by now, but she's taking her time on that. I think she's just kind of like, taking it on a day by day basis. But if you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on Facebook, or you're watching on LinkedIn, Twitch, where else are they watching? Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, wherever you are watching, tune in, ask your questions, tap into what's going on today because it's going to be fantastic. But before we go into anything else, we have Mr. Oscar Pell, who's going to talk a little bit about what he does and what we should be thinking about today, as far as identity theft and OUR and all of that. Give us that update, Oscar.
Sure. So today, the legal and identity theft is what I do. I'm an associate with Legal Shield and ID Shield. So we protect individuals, families, and businesses. The three things I want to hit on today on the legal side. Do you have rights if you can't protect them and if you don't know how to defend them? With Legal Shield, you have a law firm, not a lawyer, a law firm in your pocket 24/7, 365 in case of emergencies. The other thing, if you have teenagers that drive, or if you drive like a teenager and you start getting those silly speeding tickets that not only cost you because you're paying for the ticket, but your insurance goes up and now you pay for that ticket every time you pay your insurance. Wouldn't it be great to have a lawyer to go to court for you anywhere in the US for, I think it's about $49 if they have to go to court for you? Fight that ticket, make sure the points don't go on your license, and save yourself tens of thousands of dollars in insurance premiums later on. Third thing I want to talk about is consumer issues. How many times have you had a problem with a manufacturer or in a store and you're saying, I should call a lawyer, but I don't know how, and it's going to cost me way too much to do it anyway, and you don't? Again, with Legal Shield, you have that law firm in your pocket. That call to the lawyer costs nothing. You're already paying for it, about $30 a month for that protection for the entire family. So that's what we're doing on the legal side. Identity theft, again, the only ones with licensed private investigators that have a limited power of attorney to restore you back to pre-theft status. And portion of every sale goes to protect children and stop sex trafficking of children in the US and around the world. So that's what I do for fun and profit. Mr. Phil, back to you. Or Dr. Phil, actually.
Hey, so
I remember when you were just Mr.
yes, they call me Mr. Dr. Phil, Mr. Dr. Phil, Phil, Dr. Phil, Phil. Some people just call me Phil.
People
Some
don't even
people
call me,
call.
so
Hey, some people just say Mister. Hey, Mister. You know. But listen here, Santa Claus. We are big supporters. We want to really emphasize our support for OUR Rescue.org. I think they're doing some fantastic work. My good friend over here, Oscar Capel, is you're also a rep for them too, right?
I am one of the two ambassadors in Westchester. So
Hmm.
we're heading off the
Yeah,
volunteer teams here.
yeah, and so and, I really, because it's such an incredible, um,
Get it,
it's such
Rocky.
a it's such a weird kind of like industry because people are selling people for cash.
Yeah.
And that is all sorts of wrong. That is, and it's not just people, it's children, it's the innocent, it's people, it's the people that don't ask to be here. Somebody brought them here. And I even hear parents are involved in that.
Yep.
So not to bring a downer to the program, but we all need to be aware. Open your eyes and let's help these folks, find these folks and put them where they need to go, and so that they can live full and healthy and wonderful lives that we all want, right? All right, coming up now is none other than the wonderful, the magnificent, the maleficent, the most wonderful Miss Claudia Marulanda. Hey,
Hi, can you hear me?
Wh- I can hear you. Are we
Okay,
doing the Verizon commercial? Is this a Verizon? Am I getting paid for this?
I'm like, I don't even know what I'm how if this is like muted, not muted. So anyhow, I'm so happy to see you, both of you again, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Claudia, you are one of our favorite people in the world. And so that
Thank
is
you.
why we love having you on Focus on You. This is your first time with us, right?
Yes, it's my first time, so
Oh, cool.
so
Oh,
new.
she
Yeah,
is a
So we have to
first
be nice to her.
timer. I know.
gotta be nice,
I
Oscar.
don't have to be nice. All right, let's
No,
hit it.
yes, you gotta
Oh,
be
yes.
nice.
Yes.
Claudia, you have such a very wonderful business and you're so good at what you do. For those people that don't know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name is Claudia Marulanda, and I am a portrait artist and workshop facilitator. I wasn't always a portrait artist and workshop facilitator. I used to be a graphic designer, and I ended up falling into art because paint drove me to art. So I love creating art. I love painting, but the one thing about my art, it's all about bringing wellness and helping people feel better, be joyful, and unload that emotional stress. So that's pretty much the one thing about my art.
And you
All right.
said you didn't grow up being an artist. This
No.
this has helped you, and you talked about it earlier today. How are you using art?
How am I using art? Well, I'll let you know how it helped me, and that's how I'm using it now. So, about 10 years ago, I went through what I call I hit an emotional rock bottom. I already was suffering. Like, I used to carry this constant sadness within me. I always wanted to be someone else, and I didn't know how to, like, I didn't know how to change or be that person. And then I was in a relationship, a toxic relationship. And finally, it came to an end, and that really hurt me. It broke my heart because I was too addicted, I guess, to the bad relationship. So a couple of things happened during that period, and I was depressed. I was in a place that I didn't know what to do with myself. All I knew was that I didn't want to feel miserable anymore. And I think one thing that helped me is that I have a son, so I didn't want my son to see me like that. Unfortunately, at that point, that's when my son decided to join the Marines, so he left. But I just knew that I wanted to feel better, and by intuition, accident, I don't know what you want to call it, I just had that desire to pick up my pencils and colored pencils that I hadn't used in years since I was in school. And I noticed when I started engaging in art that way that I wasn't feeling miserable anymore. I was like, wait a minute, this like I'm not crying. I'm not thinking about that bad relationship. I'm not thinking that my son left. So I decided to start doing it every single day. And I didn't even know how to draw that good. I could draw, but it wasn't that good. But I was like, okay, this didn't come out good. Let me see what I can do next time to make it better. And then I started taking art classes and it just started evolving. And later on, well, let me just go back. One thing about being a graphic designer is that I always loved typography, or what some people will call lettering. So that was a big thing about me. So as I was creating art and I wanted to feel better, let's say I wanted to feel like, I can be resilient, I started adding the words into the hair of my illustrations. So I later on I realized that I was using art as a place to reflect on what was happening in my life, and to also just engage in how I wanted to feel. So that started helping me move into like a better emotional state of mind, and it opened me up to express myself, because I was one of those people that could not express themselves at all. I was numb to emotions completely. So it really made a difference in my life. And now I'm using what I learned on my own, because I believe we all can do it on our own up to a certain level, depending, on the problems that the person is having. We can start expressing ourselves and we can start getting into a better emotional state of mind.
Okay, Phil, you know what the headline here is? That she's old enough to have a kid that is in the Marines. Like, all right, so how does she do all of this stuff only being 25 years old? That was
I wish.
My dude, I agree with you 1000%. I mean, she's 25 and it's just, it's a
right after I heard
miracle that,
I got a kid in the
uh,
Marines. My brain went, wait, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, you're doing the math.
So you got to
friends.
say everything after that. My son is in the Marines part that I didn't hear.
Oh yeah, well now the other one is that he's married. So
Oh
imagine that.
man, okay, wow.
That
So
is incredible. O to the M to the G. That's like,
Oh,
so you
Marilanda, we're all shocked. We're all shocked. How can a 25-year-old have another 25-year-old coming
yes.
on the
yes,
news later? You're going to see it on
trust me,
Channel 11.
I'm shocked myself.
Yeah, my son just graduated too. He just graduated from college, so I'm very proud of him as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Congratulations on that.
thank you so much. So kids make us just change our lives forever, and that's an amazing thing. So Marilanda, you have tied in some miraculous way. You have tied psychology and mental health to your art, right? And I think that's the biggest miracle of it, is you're able to kind of like pull that in together. Tell us how that works and what kind of gave you the idea to do that. And then I know you have a short little presentation, something you want to show us. So tell us a little bit about that first before you go into that.
Sure. So after a couple of years of engaging in art, I started having conversations with people, adults, and I will hear the same story that you probably heard this before, like art saved my life. And eventually I met with this veteran. Someone connected me to him. Someone was talking about his story, and I was like, can I meet this guy? Can I talk to this guy? So I spoke to him. He told me his story. Then I started having other conversations with other people, trying to understand what they meant by like art saved my life. Because I was like, what do you mean art saved your life? So it led me, I can get very curious about things. So I started having these conversations, and I realized that there was something more to art. And I was like, I want to know what it is. So within this period of creating art, self-development, I also uncover past trauma that I had repressed for many, many years. And that led me to start reading on trauma. And I read, I wish I had the name of the books right now. I read one of the books is The Body Keeps the Score. Um,
Hmm.
I don't always remember the author names. Then there's one, Trauma and Healing Arts. I can't remember the name fully. So I was reading those books, and then I was like, okay, so I see how art helps. In the Body Keeps the Score, he talks more about the imagination, using the imagination to get past trauma. So it really like got me kind of like a little obsessive about it, because I noticed how it had helped me. I was like, oh my God, there's more to art. And then there's this aspect of the imagination. I was like, I want to know, what is it about the imagination? So I started taking classes, I started reading more, and it just became fascinating to understand that art is not just about drawing. Or like Oscar said before, I what was it that you can't draw a stick figure?
I,
um,
I use two erasers when I draw a stick figure.
yeah,
Yes.
but it's a connection to that right side of the brain, to that side of the brain that is your intuition. It's also a connection to that feminine energy, that energy of creating. So there's a beauty in it. And as I go day by day, I keep learning more about it. So I can see, I think it was Ethan Hawke that said, art is the arts is vital for us, is nourishment for the soul, because it goes deeper than it's not that logical side of the brain, that's
Hmm.
all we were learned to engage in school. Like they were always taking away the arts, but most people are so engaged in just that logical aspect, but they don't really understand that there's something deeper to us. So that's how the whole connection began, and that's what I keep developing, and that's how I find that, well, that's how I heal from a lot of my trauma, from the depression, from the sadness. And I was able to find my inner joy. So I want to be able to just give that to other people as well.
And you have done it. I've heard
Wow.
testimonials, and I've seen people that have said, we've had a workshop with her, and it was fantastic. We heard that this morning.
Yes, yes. I love it because I love creating art. I love painting, but right now I'm focusing on the workshops. And last night, because every other week I'm doing a free coloring workshop where what I do is that I use prompts to help people think and reflect, and then depending on how they want to feel, they pick the colors. So it's it's so pleasing and fulfilling seeing, like, oh my God, I just realized this. Because my whole thing is like, how do I help people spark uh that imagination, or getting them into more critical thinking of, like, what, it doesn't have to be this way, I can change and my life can get better. So that's what I want to give people.
That's incredible. Let's talk about your presentation here. Go ahead and give us a little insight on this.
Okay, so I wanted to give you kind of like a little journey of my art. So when I started creating art, I did this piece, and later on, I realized that when I created this, uh, like, now I can't do this. It's too much work. It's too intricate. So later on, I realized that I created this because I really needed to focus, to get into that flow state of mind, to get past the pain that I was going through. So by doing this intricate, like, curls and colors and stuff, I was really like helping my brain, my nervous system relax, and just be in a focused state of mind that could actually take me away from whatever was happening in my life. And like I put here, it helped regulate my body, my system. So that was one of my early pieces. Then I ended up creating this girl that her name is Blueberry, and she's one of my early ones also. And as I years later, as I started looking into colors, because I do a little bit of like color, like psychology, I will say it, with the work that I do. I realized that when I chose blue, it wasn't just because I liked it, but it was because I needed it for that serenity that I needed. I needed to have that peace within me. So blue was the ideal color at the time. It wasn't red, it wasn't yellow because I wasn't happy. So I noticed how even though I wasn't conscious about it, I was expressing it. So that's the beauty of it. Then I have this one. This is the first one I added words into my illustration. And I was like, I would say, like many women or people in general, like I looked to quotes for inspiration. So I started writing whatever I saw in the quote into the hair. I wasn't like thinking too much about it. It just kind of like came together uh, by accident, I will say, in a way, even though I don't believe in accidents. So I just started adding these quotes of how I wanted to feel, and this is how I was reflecting. Because when we're creating art, we're in a meditative state. We're in that alpha frequency state of mind. That's the meditative state of mind. So I was engaging in how I wanted to feel, and it was actually helping me change. Like in the book Your Brain on Art, it says that it's changing your biology, and that's what was happening to me. So this is just a little bit of the rest of my art. As I kept feeling better, my art kept evolving. The black and white that I have there, it has empowering quotes from women. So it all became of how, not only how I wanted to feel, but how I wanted to empower myself. And I put the pink one there because when I created that piece, it was it was out of my comfort zone. I was like, oh my gosh, she's too sexy. And I don't know if I can do this. So it helped me like be okay with, like, she can be sexy, she can be anything she wants. So they each of them, they made a difference in my life. The one on the far left is very meaningful to me because I was invited to be in an art exhibit where I had to share my past, present, and future. And this one's the past. So creating this art piece was very painful, but at the same time, it was a release of all those repressed and suppressed emotions that I had. I wrote things in there that I didn't want anyone ever to know. Like, I had this guilt and this shame of the past trauma of the experiences. And I was working with a coach at that time that helped me be okay with adding the words of my past into the hair. And it wasn't really anything bad. It was just bad things that happened to me, but I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't, I just had this guilt and this shame about it. So after creating that piece, I was like, it's okay. It's okay to express myself. It's okay to put it out there. And when I do my workshops, I usually talk about the trauma and those things because it's a way to heal day by day. Um, so then the middle one, she also has words in the hair, and it says, "If I don't love myself, who will?" So it was, again, a way to remind myself that I need to learn and appreciate myself. And I put it in there as a reminder to me, as a reminder to other women. And the funny thing is that I noticed some people have told me they were uncomfortable, especially women, that she's naked. But to me, it was really important for her to be naked because I wanted her to be just her by herself, to really love and appreciate herself. So it wasn't about the clothes she was wearing. It was about just her being, the way we come into this world. So it was really important creating this piece to me. And every time I'm done with them, I just feel like more empowered, more in my power of accepting myself and loving myself. And The next one, I added this one because even though I love the color orange, I don't usually use the dark backgrounds. You might see it on the one on the left side a little bit because there was a lot of sadness. In this one, there was a lot of sadness because of we were in quarantine. And I was feeling sort of sad and angry. So I had to express that and I added a quote in the mask that says, "The only thing to fear is fear itself," by the president, past president. So that's pretty much just a little journey of my art, of how it has helped me. And then now I'm using the art to help women to connect to their hearts, to really look within, because I believe that a lot of us need to be looking within and learning to appreciate and value ourselves. So one way that I do this is by creating, let me see, it's not, okay, there it is. Creating portraits. So I found it really interesting that a lot of women that I had conversations with, they just feel too weird about portraits. And I think it's crazy how as women, many women, not everyone, of course, they just feel like, like if I have a portrait of myself, it's like, like I'm putting too much attention on me. So it's really cool to see that, and then I just love it when women are able to say yes, I want to celebrate me, I want to appreciate myself. So I love creating portraits. And outside creating the portraits, like I said before, I do the workshops. I like to refer to them as expressive workshops because it's about women expressing themselves and also connecting to elevated emotions. So elevated emotions is just what we would call positive emotions, future emotions. And uh, the one person that led me to do this, or it's based on, is Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I know Oscar knows about him. He talks about how we need to really be proactive and think about how we want to feel, because the way, depending on how we feel, it affects our thoughts and it affects our actions. So if we engage in how we want to feel, we can actually start thinking of the positive actions that we want to take, and just how can we create uh, a better future. So that's a little bit of the work that I do with the women there. Let me know if you need me to stop at some point, or if I just keep going. So
It's your show. We're focusing on you.
okay, excellent, excellent. So the next one is a program that I want to start creating again, and this is all done online. This one's called Uncover the Goddess Within, Future Self Portrait. So this is also giving women that space to uh, get to know themselves, in the sense we talk about beliefs, we talk about uh, emotions, how we speak to ourselves. And then after they get like a certain understanding of where they are, it's like, okay, where do I want to go? Because my whole thing is always like, where do I want to go? I truly believe that we can shape our future. It is up to us depending on the actions we take. And those actions are based on how we feel and how we think. So I love this project because it's a mixed media project. They get to play with different mediums. I go over all these different mediums with them through a period of 7 weeks, and then they create this beautiful portrait that is meaningful, and like they said, it's like a inner vision board. So I love that. I can't wait to do it again. Hopefully soon I'll get back to it. And then I've been doing a little bit of the expressive workshops also with companies that want to support their staff in their well-being, and taking care of themselves. And I'm looking to work with more companies like that want to be there for their staff, and realize that, if the team is healthy, mentally healthy, if they feel like they're cared for and appreciated, that's going to make the company more successful. That's going to help the company. So And I love working with people in person, which is a huge difference than from being online. And the last one is the painting events. And of course, it's not a regular painting event. It's about creating your future self-portrait again. So it's kind of like the program, but in a painting event, we do it in 2 hours. And it's a great way for people to enjoy themselves and to think of how they want to feel, and consider, like, what do they want for their lives. So the art is always about engaging people in how they want to feel and what do they want for their lives, because I truly believe that we need to break the patterns of the daily negativity, or being unconscious of what we're thinking, and just letting whatever is happening in life lead us. I believe that we need to start taking control and just become aware and build and just conscious about what is happening in our lives, and where do I want to go, and how can I get there. So that's it on my art, on the things that I'm doing with people.
So what
Wow.
what I take from this is you've empowered yourself, and now you're empowering others, which like next step. And we always say you can't help others until you help yourself, and then you have extra to give. One of the things that drives me crazy is women
Mhm.
saying I'm sorry for no reason. That makes me nuts. And I'll be in the store and someone
I'm
say I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm like, why are you sorry? Yeah. Why are you conditioned to say I'm sorry? It's like, excuse me is fine, but there's no reason to say I'm sorry. So it's that pattern of, I'm not worthy. You said, even when you're drawing
The
the
portraits.
portrait on the right, you said, I should I make this woman sexy? Like, yes, you should do whatever you want. I mean, why put that
Yeah,
limitation?
yeah. You know what it is, man? I realize that our world is painted black and white to try to hide the shades of gray underneath, right?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like women, if you are what you call sexy, right? You're also beautiful. But if you just kind of frame it under sexy, it's like, oh wow, okay, that's kind of bad, right? And so you in your mind you're triggering whether sexy is good or sexy is bad when it could be just beautiful. Right, you get what I'm saying? Right?
Hmm.
It's all in how you frame it. And I love that you put words into your pictures. Like it's almost like you can take how you feel and put it into the image that you're painting, and almost like transfer how you're feeling into the painting. you know that's what you do. I every time I look at what you're doing, I hear how people can just take how they're feeling, and even if you didn't do such a great piece of artwork, you could just put your name in it, or you could put how you're feeling in it, and it almost like you transfer it, you know and that's what I really find fascinating about what you do. Here's what I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss everyone being able to do some shopping on your website. Look at these tote bags. These tote bags are fire. I mean, look at this. Oscar, you should buy a tote bag for your wife.
I want one for me.
Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is coming up. And look at these fantastic tote bags. All right. I want 200 of them now. Sold. My wife would be like, "What are you doing with 200 tote bags?" I don't know. But
I don't know.
these are beautiful,
It's an
beautiful tote
investment in
Thank
bags.
art.
you.
And then she
Thanks.
has, let me see what else. She have gift cards. What? I'm like, you got gift
You're checking it
cards?
out.
Yeah. Talk about the gift cards a little bit.
The gift cards, I just started doing that just for anyone that wants to give someone the gift of art. I have, because I, I have like the coloring book. So I have products, let's just say, from different price range. And, they all bring joy. I mean, the coloring, people get to enjoy it. The art prints, people don't have to buy an original, but there is art prints. And the cool thing about the website is that they offer frames. So if you want to like frame, they'll frame it for you. And I need to add, the one thing that I have to work on is adding the workshops. There is a page for the workshops, but I need to start adding like the type of workshops that I'm facilitating. So it's all a work in progress, but all my information is there for now.
It's a
And as I keep
wellness
going,
workshop.
yeah. And now I'm doing the free coloring workshop every other week, and that one's called Cup and Color, because I want women to just go and fill their cups with some self love. But yeah, that's I need to be adding a little more in there. But that gives
This
you
is
an idea of what I
beautiful.
do.
This
Thank you.
is amazing. This is amazing. Listen, girl, you're doing it. You are
Yes,
doing it.
yes.
This is fantastic stuff. Wow. Oscar, man, we need to do a workshop, Oscar.
Yeah, one thing I did notice before you said it is the background. When I'm like, look at
Right.
that really dark back. Look at this back, and I noticed, before you said, I'm like that. The background means something. It's not just I'm going to throw some color back there in between the art. It's like it is part of the artwork.
Right,
Yeah.
right. She has, what are these postcards? Note cards.
No
Ooh.
cards, yeah.
So if you want to write a note to somebody that you really, really like or care about, this is it.
I'll be
Yes.
waiting for one from you, Phil.
You're welcome. Yeah, Oscar, you know what, man? I am definitely, definitely going to send you a love note. Mm.
I love no.
Keep waiting for that. Keep
No,
waiting for it.
that's right.
Claudia, man, this was fantastic. We need to have her back, Oscar. We need to have her back because she is a fabulous, fabulous guest. This cannot be just one time. We got to
We
do
can
this
have her. We
over
can
and
have her
over
anytime
again.
because she doesn't age. So we can have
I,
her
s-
on
I see
5 years from now.
I see
10 years from now to say.
I see she look the same. She'll look the same. She'll just be like, "Hey, yes, I came from the fountain of youth, and it was just so wonderful, you know."
Hey, I see so many women out there. I don't know this woman's name. She's 72 years young. I mean, this woman looks so on it too.
Oh,
I'll be so happy. And so I have great what do you call it, role models that excite me.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Claudia, thank you so much. You are amazing, and we love
Thank
interviewing
you.
you. We want to have you
Thank
back.
you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And don't feel free to reach out if you're listening to us on Spotify, our Heart Radio. Reach out to mariyolandaart.com. Go to mariyolandaart.com. You could get the tote bag from there, the coloring book. Reach out to her for one of her clinics or workshops, and support Claudia Marulanda. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you again next week on Focus on You. Bye.